trust and roll with us, because we the hipsters fall in love when we put our hot pants on and up. And yes, of course we does. We run in this strip just like a club. And no, you don't want to mess with us, got Jesus on my necklace. Yes, yes. Yeah, the glitter on my eyes, looking sick and sexified. Anyways, guys, this is a reading for Mars, and I'm gonna read the request. So she says, "Hello again. I'm having so much difficulty right now with my academics and honestly career path. I got admitted into a school I worked so hard for, but now I'm unsure if it's actually being meant for me since I encountered huge difficulties that hinder my start at this school. I honestly just feel so lost and unstable. I guess I wanted to know how I would be able how I'd be able to continue this path or choose a different one as well in accordance with my spiritual team and my highest good. This is also my first reading like this, so any advice or details would be super appreciated. Thank you so much for everything." Ah, you're welcome. I actually spent quite a good deal of time kind of like pre-routing, like figuring out how I was gonna do this reading, and I'm sorry that I'm like sniffly because I don't know. I think I'm like going through some kind of transition personally. Like I don't know. Like either that or I'm under some kind of like spiritual warfare when it comes to like producing stuff, because I feel like as soon as I start to record stuff, I just start sniffling, and it's like I guess like the world wants me to be like this gross person who does gross things, and I guess maybe like to some extent that's true, but like it bothers me a little bit that like I've been sniffling so much because any other time, like if I'm not recording some shit, I don't sniffle, bro. But I'm like, but whatever. I mean, I'm actually gonna just blow my nose really quickly before we start this. If you see my ass, bro, chill, because I've been like struggling to take care of myself. So like I still have laundry like in the machine, and like all my underwear. Like, this is my last pair of underwear, dude. I'll be completely honest, and I gotta like I'm trying to get my shit together. I really am, bro. I really am. Hold on, I gotta fucking blow my fucking honker of a nose, dude. This shit is fucking huge. Produces an insane amount of fucking mucus. And dude, you know what? I said mucus, but like growing up, we called it mocos. And then my cat like flees, literally mocos. And I have this one like I have like this one Hispanic op right now, and I feel like this is Loki her doing. What do you think, bro? Because my cat also has like this. Sky gets it, bro. Because I think Sky has a beef with her mom right now, right? And my mom literally called it mocos. Uh, I'm not like I'll never like go out in the world and be like, oh, I'm like Afro Latina, right? Because like I don't really think of myself as that, but I did grow up with a Cuban stepdad, so like I'm not necessarily Afro Latina, but I know a thing or two about how to get down because I was taught a lot of it, like um whatever. Uh, yeah, and then also I have a Guyanese sister. I grew up with her family, and that's like real deal South American shit. Um, I wonder like what you are, what you represent in the environment around you. Like I'm gonna read you my like journal entry because this whole like reading kind of started. You claim me as Mexican, bro. That's actually insane. But yeah, I'm gonna read you guys my little journal entry because it kind of like preluded everything else, and I also pulled from a little deck so I can get like an idea of what I'm talking about here. But at 10:18 today, I wrote, and this is like kind of email. I feel like embarrassed reading this, guys, but whatever. I was like, I'm avoiding my. Why is it so cringe? I'm I'm avoiding everything that requires me to be in touch with myself. I don't want to be in touch or sensitive or caring or compassionate anymore. There used to feel These used to feel like strengths to me, my ability to be comfortable to others. Now I want to make the world feel as uncomfortable as it makes me. Unfortunately, there's nowhere I belong and I stand out in every place that I travel. My purpose and or my alignment with purpose might depend on some kind of a radical act that I've been taught or conditioned to fear. I might have to change my identity, my form. As uncomfortable as I am, I'm more comfortable understanding what to expect from my current dysfunction than I am initiating myself into some foreign state of being. At least that's how I feel, and that's how it seems. And then I also felt called to mention like a 6 month time frame, um, because I just moved back from California in the beginning of this year in February, and we're in the 8th month now. We just got to the 8th month. So it's been about 6 months just since I ended my outlaw era of being, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with my life now because I'm not quite like a regular person anymore, but I'm also not quite so stamped as being an irregular person that I can just walk into certain doors that I kind of feel like I want to walk in. So I feel like right now for me personally, it's just about figuring out what the markers of success I need to kind of associate my identity with in order to more easily walk through certain doors or more easily accept certain opportunities. So like I tried to get a part-time job that didn't last, and I was wondering, I was like, dude, I I could I'm I'm me. This doesn't really make sense to me that things didn't work out for me because usually things work out for me, and that might sound um I think too much of myself, but historically in life, whenever I am supposed to do something, I can do it. So whenever things aren't possible for me, I just have to understand that I probably wasn't supposed to be doing that. And that's how I'm choosing to kind of conceptualize the situation. I was taking a part-time job as a waitress, and I had never waited tables before, ever. It was in a sports bar. So I was I was doing it because I felt like that's what I could do, to take up my time. But then I realized I'm probably selling myself short. The next step for me probably needs to be something a little bit more identity defining. And I've been avoiding defining my identity. I was in California, living in California for I want to say maybe almost 2 years, and I never even got a new license or anything. I did, I never I kind of just avoid being a person as much as possible, because anything that requires me to show up and be this is who I am, witness me, sometimes outside of this platform, that just feels too much to ask. So I'm trying to work on that because I am a person, and I do probably need to tell the world how to respond to me, because if I think about it, I've been doing that. It's just in this more social media thing. It's not tangible. I was doing the social media thing, and then I started to realize hey, I kind of want more stability in my life. It's great having a following of people who agree that I have this skill or whatever, but I feel like I need more I'm struggling to find the words all of a sudden. I think basically I was starting to realize that I was this super meta spiritual person, but I didn't have enough material world stuff to hold me down. So I was relying a lot on other people in more materially secure situations or positions to kind of assist me. Um, And like, yeah, I was kind of good at like pulling that in, but then I realized like if I stop, like if I lose my ability to pull this in from like other people, like what do I have? Which is part of the reason why I'm at my dad's house now, is because I was doing it. I was taking care of myself and like whatever in California, and I was like, I need to be able to, you know, do this on my own. I don't know. It's weird. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain. But the question is just like, how am I gonna do that? Because there's not like just any one thing that I'm good at, and then sometimes I feel like if I put too much effort into the wrong thing, I'm wasting my time, or like I'm like going to lose other better opportunities, or like I'm afraid to take so much of a committed move in one direction that like I lose other directions or something like that, you know, like um because recently I'll be like, I'll just like level with you guys, because that's the only way I really know how to be on like these platforms, like just like super honest. It's just like part of my downfall is because then like anybody can just like come on here and then know things about me. But whatever. um yeah, I was thinking about whether or not I should join like the military, because on my mom's side of the family, like that's just like what everybody did. Like, which is part of the reason why, like, when everybody was first telling me that I should, I was like, fuck no. Like, I was like, I'm not doing that shit. Because everybody that I knew, like my aunts, like I had two aunts in the army. Both of their husbands were in the army. Um, for like 20-year contracts. My cousin just signed a 20-year contract with the Marines. My mom's new husband is a veteran from the Marines. Like everybody in my mom's side is like, okay, well, like if you want money, you go and you like sacrifice some amount of your soul, and then you never really have to worry about money again, because it's always gonna just be like whatever they give you. Like you're gonna be able to get whatever is handed to you as long as you sacrifice your soul or whatever. And I was like, oh fuck, like I don't want to do that. I want to be a creative person, and so I like resisted that aspect of myself, like the need to like have things, because it was important to like my development as a person, that I kind of like, I think got um, parts of my soul eroded off, which sounds weird. Like, what do you mean that that was good for you? But I do think it was good for me that I had time to kind of come to my own understanding of why selling parts of yourself could be like actually the most rational thing to do in a situation. It's like compromising of complete autonomy is probably necessary, because I was living outside of the machine for like a lot of this time. I hope this doesn't sound like stupid. Like I was living outside of it, like because I could just make my content and then sell it to people who think outside the box, you know. But then I realized that the world is like changing in a way that makes that feel unreliable for my long-term future. So I gotta figure out ways to kind of translate my like softer spiritual skills into like an actual job. A job. So I gotta figure out what that is, because if it's not like I become some kind of like stay-at-home like mom, then it's like, what job am I doing? Because that's the job that I feel like I'm kind of doing now, is like home realm guarder. I don't know. It's weird. So yeah, I thought I was gonna like maybe do part-time National Guard stuff. Um, but before that, I was also thinking about like learning how to code, and I was doing this like program thing. But I also announced that, and then like shortly after I announced that, I lost all motivation to do it, because people don't want to see me succeed. But it's okay, because I don't mind too much. Like anything that I've ever like picked up and walked away from, I usually find my way back to it whenever I feel like I want to. So I kind of just trust in the fact that anything I ever had to do, I did do. um, and then I don't worry too much about the stuff I don't do because I don't have to do it. Like everything I ever had to do got done, and that's because like God made me do it, you know. So yeah, okay. I also pulled a couple of cards as well, for like to clarify the energy of the full moon in Aquarius that we literally just had, because that happened before I got this idea to switch my career, and then it also happened, I think on like a Friday night, and I was like miraculously called to like explore like outside of my house. So I went to cookout, and then I literally DJ'd in the parking lot. Like I was like, I got a milkshake, and then I like I just played music for everybody who was coming in and out the cookout, and I felt like really cool because I was like music. My music taste is like one of those things that I just feel like enormously confident of. So whenever I play my music, I feel like I'm literally transferring like my self confidence out into the world, and I'm like, here, like this is how I feel about me. This is my energy. Like this is my spike. This is my aura, and I'm giving it to you so like you can feel as cool and empowered as I do. Like I want you to like see me living this way, and I also want you to be inspired to live this way too. So there could be something about like if it's not like literally you that's playing the music in the cookout parking lot, you know, it could be that you're somebody who's coming across someone else's display of self, and there could be something about that display of self that inspires you, and I think this could be a time when you really want to lean into that. Like when you want to allow yourself to be inspired, when you want to allow yourself to be like properly motivated. Like I was looking online last night because I was really looking into this whole like military thing, which makes me feel like I don't know why it's like looking one of the most embarrassing things ever for me. Like I don't know, like I'm like almost embarrassed because like for such a long time I was like, if you join the military, you're basically just like a tool, you know. But like, am I not kind of a tool now? Like I don't know. Like, it kind of feels like that for me. Like I hated like the feeling of not mattering, like not being important. Like, and even if I go in now, like it's like I have to make sure I score like super high on this test so that I can like only I have to be important. Like no matter where I go, I just have to be important. Like I could never be somebody who wasn't important. Like that's just like I would probably kill myself, bro. Like seriously, I like I need to know that there's a reason why I'm contributing anything to anyone, any situation. Like otherwise, why am I doing it? And I really struggle to um, remind myself, especially like in this like more entrepreneurial position, that like when I say entrepreneur, it's just mean like I'm doing everything that I'm doing just for me, like because I tell myself it's important. So whenever I get into like a state of mind that's like, oh my god, I hate everything, it's like really hard to motivate myself to follow through with the things that I think otherwise I would agree are important to do. So sometimes I feel like it would be good for me to like devote myself to some kind of like system outside of myself, just for the sake of the fact that like it would give me a reason to follow through with things that I normally or sometimes can't do when I'm the only reason why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. But yeah, I wrote down, we got three cards: faith, dissipating, and renewal. So for faith, I wrote that the idea of the one path could be harmful. Choose your own adventure, regaining personal freedoms, and manifest destiny. Um, so I think the idea that I was kind of picking up from that card was just that there is no like one correct response to the situation that's like kind of confusing you right now or causing you stress. like for the past few weeks, I've been thinking about who I want to be and like where I kind of want to go and how I want to position myself and like what are all of the steps that are required to get to where I ultimately want to be, because I struggle to think of like, I just feel like it would be hard for me to get to the kind of magnitude that I want to be if I can't think first long term. So when I've been like looking for careers, because one of the things that actually stuck out to me was like this like FBI agent thing, like secret agent thing, like special agent thing, and I don't know why like that shit just seemed like cool as fuck to me because I basically felt like I was like already on some super X Games mode shit. Anyways, like this past few years of my life, like none of that really transferred over to camera, but I actually kind of like moved around like quite a bit, and it like was exciting for me. Like one of the reasons why I was kind of like really sad to leave California is because like just the sheer raw intensity of like everyday survival was like kind of addicting to me. Um, like it was kind of fun being in an environment like to an extent. Like it was also like extremely tiresome, but it was kind of fun being in an environment where like everybody kind of like wanted to kill me all the time because that just felt like stimulating. So I don't know. I've been struggling to really feel properly stimulated since being back home because nobody here really is trying to kill me. And then sometimes I feel like they are trying to kill me even when they're not trying to kill me. Like I feel like everybody's trying to attack me even when they're not, just because I'm used to um, being in environments where people want to like attack me. Um, but I think that's just like kind of the understanding of like the fact that I have some kind of subconscious desire to be pursued and to pursue my own goals, and I can position myself in the world in ways that allow that core need to be fulfilled. Like one of the first things I wanted to do after getting back here, even before I left, was become a police officer. Um, but then I started to realize like a lot of times these police officers have some kind of like military background. Um, And then I also started to realize that for the FBI, like one of the main things you can do in order to be positioned well in that application process is to have a military background. And then I was starting to just realize, like, man, like, I have to kind of like shake hands with the situation, like the people at the center of the things. So I have to figure out how I'm going to like do that. And I don't necessarily want to like give up my entire life, and I don't feel like I should necessarily have to just to get there. So that's why I was thinking more like um, National Guard. And I'm only sharing this with you, like not because I think that you're gonna be doing this like National Guard thing or whatever, but just because I hope this like kind of inspires you to like do your own navigation process, like as far as your dream, like what is the highest potential of yourself that you kind of see, and like what things can you do to make that seem real, not only for yourself but then also for everyone around you who's perceiving you externally, like material, like what kind of things can you add to yourself to make you feel like you. And then in the request you're talking about how like you're in this school that you worked really hard to get admitted to and like it's hard and stuff like that, but if you feel like that thing is important to like the accomplishment of this program or whatever is important to you showing up as you need to show up materially, it might be worth it to just stick it out. And it could be like a trick of the enemy kind of a thing where you feel like you want to give up on a thing that actually is meant for you. Like I feel like that definitely happened for me with the whole like TikTok thing. Like TikTok has kind of been like in some ways ruined for me. Ever since like and I'm not like blaming Trump or whatever, like whatever. But like I'm just saying like ever since the whole TikTok ban thing, that coincided with his re-election, I just kind of like was like damn. Um, so I think in this new time, I'm not like like upset about that. I think it's appropriate because um I think I need to learn to be in a more conservative, more like reserved, more practical state of being, state of mind. Like I just turned 22 this year, so I think it's an appropriate time for me to start thinking about what the building blocks of my future are. Like, what can I fall back on in the event of anything? Like, what are the possibilities for me, both positive and negative, and then how can I kind of steer myself in the direction of those more positive outcomes and kind of prevent those negative outcomes from being a true risk. And that's kind of like what I've been thinking about recently. And you know, yeah. So that's the reason why. Because last night I actually like looked up local recruiters. So I actually kind of am low key kind of serious about it. We'll see if I actually call them. But like you know, if this isn't like a recruiter for you, it could be like a guidance counselor at your school or something like that. Like you might need to consult with someone who has a even maybe clear idea of what the route is for you to get to where you want to be. Um, yeah, that could be helpful. And that's just like the prelude to this reading. Um, yeah, I haven't finished it yet, but we haven't actually pulled the cards yet, so I'm just kind of talking to you about what I was thinking about before I did this reading. But yeah, we have dissipating, like losing morale, struggling to connect with your emotions. Is this like a right now feeling or a forever feeling? Struggling to find true relaxation and contentment. So that's why I feel like the question and your answer to the whole part of this reading where I was like, does this phase of your life mean something to the future version of yourself that you're trying to create? Yes or no? Like that question is kind of important because if it doesn't mean anything to who you're trying to become, then why hold on to it? Like when I got fired from that surveying job, I think my boss wanted me to like be upset and like beg for my job, but I could like no way. like no way, like personally no way. So he was like, I think we should like I think we're done with you basically. He didn't even have a good reason to fire me. I just have a big ego personally. Like I know what it is that I have to offer. So I was overqualified to even work there. Like a server job was like something that like 16-year-olds do for their first job out of high school. Like I was just trying to get some money. So if it's like I'm not gonna beg for a serving job. So like he was. I think like kind of the feeling surrounding me was like, hey, we kind of all know that you don't really need this job, and like we all kind of all know that like you're just showing up to receive, and we're kind of like frustrated and pissed off because it's kind of like seems like your life is better than ours, even though like some of these people who felt this way were like in superior positions to me. So I just kind of like allowed that situation to kind of close in on me, and I allowed myself to reflect on like and transmute that energy of like you are better than us. We want to make your life hell. So like I went through the hellish part, and then I realized like the only reason why this is happening is because of how awesome I am. And then I allowed that to inspire me, and I started to like learn how to code again because I I was inspired by my rage, and I was like telling myself I was gonna like learn how to code and then like hack their internet and then like leave a message on their like server. But I never actually did that. But I did get like a couple days. I did get a little bit further in the program than I probably would if I wasn't like enraged. So like I think that there could be like a possibility for you to learn how to use the negative stimuli as like some kind of positive motivation. If you can, like if you could, I think that'd be helpful for you. Um, and you might also notice that like part of the reason why you're struggling to have motivation to move forward, if this is something that you actually ultimately want to do and like keep moving forward with, is because you are struggling to relax. So I would call into question or like encourage you to question yourself about like how you spend your off time. And if you are really truly relaxing, or if you're like kind of like me sometimes and you're just like laying there and like thinking and being anxious, like just being anxious without movement versus being anxious with movement. So yeah. And then the last card that I got was renewal. So feeling forced into uncomfortable positions but having the ability to transmute. Yeah. And then unlikely catalyst, unlikely transition, unlikely outcome. And then I wrote beauty in the struggle. So just like using myself as an example here, like I don't think anybody really expected me to. Well, I don't know. Maybe some people did. Cause like my cousin told me, the one who just signed his 20-year contract with the Marines, like he was like, you should join the Marines, and I was like, I don't know why I was so resistant against that. I think I was just dogmatic, but whatever. Um, yeah. I mean, there were maybe some signs, like even my own mom sent me like the recruitment thing. Like, there were maybe some signs, but I didn't expect myself to ever think about joining the National Guard. So I find myself even feeling surprised at my own desires. Like, um, it just feels like I think I'm meant for like the bigger, better, tougher stuff in life, and I think as difficult as it is to kind of understand how I should position myself in these places, I actually think it's better for me to do the hard thing than it is to like do the easy thing that's unfulfilling. Like I could find another serving job probably and get hired, um, because I'm like an attractive person and people like me around. But I think I'd rather like do something more X Games mode because I would have more life satisfaction doing the X Games mode thing than I would bringing out people's drinks. You know, like I don't know. And I'm fortunate to have like the kind of opportunity in life where, um, I don't have to pay rent anymore. So I'm being given like a foundation with which I can just sit here and think about this kind of a thing. And like, I don't have to work that stupid job because, you know, I ultimately have everything I need even in being in an earlier stage in my journey. Like I am not like lacking things. Like anything I need I can just either it's already available to me because it's been provided by like my father, or it's within my, like I can reach out and like grab it. And that's the great thing about like still having this whole tarot thing as my side hustle is because I can still use those old skills. Like, those old skills that I have gained are not lost and wasted, and I'm so glad that I was kind of guided to complete a level of mastery when it came to tarot, because I'll always be able to like pull this out and make some change if I need to make some change in a tough situation. And like that's literally what I did for 2 years of life. Like it's insane when I think about it now. Because I don't know how the fuck I was doing this sometimes. But like I literally lived for 2 years like off of nothing but what I made from reading tarot cards. And that like blows my mind. Because I had no like I wouldn't have even thought that I would have gotten to that point when I started to read tarot at like 14 years old. So I don't know if this is like your tarot, because if this is your tarot, like if this program and whatever certification you could get at the end of it is like some kind of skill that allows you to forever be straight kind of a thing, then like it could be worth it to just like power and plow through whatever temporary discomfort this is. Like even when I'm like coding, I sometimes like I have not been consistent with like the everyday thing with coding because it's boring as fuck. Like you just have to do it. Like you just have to learn the language and then you have to just do it. Um but I have been more consistent with like German, Duolingo, and I think it's because of the difference in the formatting of how I'm learning. Like Duolingo is more like a game than the actual course for coding Python is. So I think that could be a bit of a difference here. It's like, my just ability to engage with the content, and if you kind of relate to that, it might be helpful for you to find new ways to engage with the content that you're trying to, either create or like learn from. Because even before, like I was gonna like record this, but I was thinking like maybe I should flip the camera like and like go to my desk and then let people see the cards more clearly and like show my hands, because I used to have like this really bad hand wounds, but they're kind of healed now. Like, but yeah, you know, I think that that might be helpful for me just to like kind of change some things up, because one of the cards I pulled once again was like renewal. And for some people, you know, seeing is believing or whatever. Okay, so cool. That's like the main part of this reading. I think everything that I pull from this point on is probably just gonna like confirm or elaborate on the things I kind of got before. So, yeah. Eee. Hey, Randy. Um, I'm just like super bummy today. I've just been like super bummy recently because I've been having to realize like I'm not the most like showy person ever. Um, but I think that's actually good. The fact that like I'm really humble about the things that I have to offer to the world, and that I'm not like I have the ability to disguise myself even in my superiority, which is awesome. A lot of people, you know, like you look at them and you can like clearly see where they're strong, but that might be the only place that they're strong, you know? So this could be like a physicality thing. Like this could be the energy of somebody who like you know, how do I want to use that example? It's not like I'm meaning to like really point anybody out in saying this. It's just like the examples that are coming to my head, right? So like you could be like a really tall man and like you can dunk, and you know you can dunk, and so you really like the feeling of dunking on people, so like you just kind of like make it a point in your offense to try to set yourself up for dunks. But then this other like shorter multivariate player archetype witnesses you while you're playing your game and like is learning your game style, and they're like, okay, this guy goes for dunks because he knows he's tall and he likes to dunk on people, and that's what he does. So I'm gonna put myself in the like I'm gonna like watch this guy and learn this guy, and I'm gonna make it so that he can't dunk because like I'm gonna be in his way whenever he wants to dunk or something like that. I don't know. um, but if like I think like you could, you know, you could have some of these archetypes characteristics of like the really strong strengths, but I still think you're more of like that multivaried player. Um, like you don't just have to offer the one thing that makes the most obvious thing, you know, like you're bringing something else to the table, something more, something whatever, you know. There's just more depth there than what's average, I think, when it comes to you. And like yeah, like you could be an MVP character, but I'm struggling to like find the words to explain this. I hope you guys are understanding this. And the person I'm reading this for, like the alter ego is what I wanted to say, but it's like an alias they gave me is Mars. And Mars is a masculine planet. And my Mars is in Aquarius, which is one of the reasons why I mentioned the Aquarius full moon that we just had, the other magician in the reverse. So it just kind of feels like energy could be released in your life, like without you necessarily having to even like be a part of that initiation process. It's just like, you know, it's just happening because it's meant to happen. And that's what I meant before about like, you know, anything like God ever wanted me to do, I did. You know, anything that like anything I had to do, God made sure that I accomplished. You know, like when I ran away from home, like when I was like 18 years old, 19 years old, stuff like that. I had just miraculously saved enough money for my security deposit, and I wasn't like when I was saving the money, I wasn't thinking I'm gonna need this for when I get an apartment. I was just saving the money because I was raised to save the money. Like I was taught to do that. So I was saving it, and then I needed it, that I had it, you know, like it was just that kind of a thing. Where anything you really need to do, you'll do, you'll accomplish it. So let that kind of like reassure you, like times in your life when you didn't even try, but you were like guided or redeemed or delivered from something that you couldn't have even forecasted. Yeah. And I'm like shuffling around with this like skeletal deck, so I wonder if you have some passed over ancestors. Cause like I'm looking at my window, and like my view from here, like I have two windows, and both of them are just trees. Like I live in the middle of the woods, so I wonder what kind of family tree you might have. And I wonder if that's like obvious or different from how it seems in some way. Because I feel like my family has like some like Italian inspirations in there. Like we eat a lot of pasta. Um, I've eaten like an insane amount of spaghetti recently. Um, but you probably wouldn't like look at my family and think that there's anything really Italian about it, and I don't think that genetically really exactly really you probably are. But it's like, but it still just feels that way, you know. Like like you can just go off of vibes a little bit here because like you just might know. Like, have you ever, man? Sometimes I want to tell people how I think, but then I just feel like there's no point to doing that. I don't know. I guess that's like kind of the whole point of me doing this is like people want to know how I think and what connections I'm putting together. So I'll just do it for the sake of vulnerability. But sometimes like I've noticed in myself the tendency to hyperfixate on certain things that eventually later had some greater significance for me. Like another example of this that's kind of like silly is when I was in elementary school, like my kindergarten year, and then a crow literally just lands in the tree. That's insane. My kindergarten year, Obama was elected president, and like that was like the greatest thing that ever happened to like the Black community. Like we were all like super happy about that, and he was like super inspirational to me. Like I fucking love Obama like to this day, and ask anybody who lived in my house. Like I was obsessed with Obama, and now two more crows. There's now three crows in the tree. That's insane. I would literally turn the camera around and show you, but it's not worth it. Just trust me. There's three crows in the tree. The same tree that I was looking at before, and I was talking about your family, like, tree, like, your structure, like, where you come from. So I feel like there could, like, either literally be three different, like, past people from your tree, and there's, like, they're kind of positioned on, like, different parts of this tree. So, like, there's the main, like, trunk, and then there's, like, this, left wing, and then there's a crow there, and then there's two on the right side at different levels of elevation. So that's what I'm kind of getting is like there's like this opposites energy. Like you could have people from different positions on the playing field or table that still want to see you succeed. And all of the succession is related to your ancestral like purpose in some kind of way. Because the way that I've kind of been introduced to like soul family and like the reason why some people are like kind of born into certain families is because of like not only like the idea to continue a certain thing materially, but then also like spiritually. Like my dad has this Russian breed dog, and I have a German breed dog or Belgian breed dog. And they get along really well, but we are Jewish. Like we descend from Hebrew, like Hebrews. So when you think about it, like both Russia and Germany had like this real like opposition thing with the Jews. Like they're killing the Jews. So like Now in this life, we kind of have like this support from these contextually opposing forces. Like there are dogs that love us, but if you went back in time like 100 years and you took it out of the context of human and dog, we would have probably been like mortal enemies. And the crows to me are like kind of occasionally omens of death. So I really do kind of get this like support from the other side kind of energy from you, and it might not be from the side that you. It might not come from the kind of people that you might think of being supportive to you, basically. And that's it has a lot to do with like past life karma. Yeah. My cat just turned on my computer, my Mac, and it's my Death Note Mac. Like it has a whole bunch of Death Note stickers on it. So yeah, because I was talking about like the whole like X Games mode thing, and part of the reason why you might need so much help from the other side is because of where you're going. Like the importance truly of you rising into whatever position you're kind of meant to be in. Like imagine how much fucking dead people supported Barack Obama as the first black president. Like, do you understand how many black people died in America before that ever happened? Like an insane amount. So like the fact that he even like won whatever amount of voting necessary to get there, bro, means like there was a lot of like energetic support behind that. Like that wouldn't have happened unless like the universe needed that to happen for whatever reason. It's just crazy. Like, wow. Insane judgment. And I feel like there's like this conspiracy theory that like Obama only became president so like there would never have to be another black president. Like they had to just like get it one out the way real quick. And that could be true, but who cares? Obama did it for all of us. Kind of like Jesus died on the cross. I have this like ongoing like motif in my mind of like the Jesus archetype in like society. Like I feel like a lot of people could probably like fall into like this Jesus archetype because one of the things that we hear about in Luke, like the actual book of the Bible, is like Jesus was Jesus. Like Jesus, he was fully fledged Jesus, and he only led like 5,000 people. So like my account like in its prime was like getting close to like 50K. Like that's like 10 Jesuses in one. Like you could be a Jesus type person and really be on some like low key or like chiller shit, but it's just like it's like the magnitude of your impact in that position that's really the most important thing, and like your submission to like a higher calling or like divine purpose or like orchestration, really. So yeah, maybe like there could even be some kind of like religious motivation that you might be able to like. And when I say religious, I don't really mean like ritualistic. I, I really mean more like this is me being super grounded, and this is being the reason why I exist. Like this is the reason why I exist. I exist to serve this purpose on behalf of this God, right? And like I'm not telling you like what God to believe in. Like if you are super into like Greek mythology or whatever, like fuck, I don't know. Like maybe you serve Hades. I don't fucking know. I'm not here to tell you that. Like I don't even think it really matters. Like that's my perspective on it. But you know, like this could be a time when it's a good idea for you to kind of like hammer out like your philosophy as if your philosophy was like this sword that you're carrying through like life with you, like because you're using this philosophy as like a way to justify everything that you're experiencing and like cut through obstacles. Like you're gonna need to like have a good understanding of what the reason is why you are continuing to move forward if you're gonna be able to do that like well. um and that won't be like probably like an overnight thing because I feel like that's kind of like what the fuck if it was, but like unless unless God Himself like literally came down to you and like was like, "Hey, this is the reason why I created you," but like that's kind of crazy and jealousy inspiring. Um, So yeah. And if you do have that level of like realization, then like, and you do feel like people are jealous of you, that could be the reason why. It's because once you do kind of have this idea of like, this is why I exist and this is what I'm gonna do with my life, um, like that that comes with a level of like buttery slidiness, because everything that you try to do you can do. And that's what I was mentioning before. I was like, I'm the kind of person, like, when I apply myself to a thing, like, I get a good result. And that's because I rarely ever do anything that I don't feel called to do. Like, if I'm not meant to do it, I'm not gonna do it. And I rest in the knowing that I know what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. But that's like a level of connection that you might have to continue to like develop, especially if you feel like you're called to change directions, because it doesn't mean that like whatever you were doing before wasn't good. It could just be the fact that like now the time to transition to something different, like you're just meant to be doing something different right now, or just seeing the situation differently. And one of the things I was telling myself yesterday, because I was like, I mentioned the fact that I used to have more followers on my TikTok. I was like, dude, like, why is that? Like, why is it that I'm like losing right now? Like, why is it that I'm not performing the way that I wish I could perform right now? And it's I was telling myself that it's just non-linear progress. So, like, all of the stuff that I'm struggling with now is probably just making me a better leader in some kind of way. Like, I'm not knowing the answers to my own problems, and then I'm coming up with these solutions, with the help of like those that guide me, and then I'm like offering that. But I'm just because it's not coming as easily doesn't mean that I'm not contributing value, or just because I have less to say now doesn't mean I'm not contributing value. It's just like when I was living in like every day was constant war, like there was that stimulation, so I kind of always had something new to say because I was always kind of experiencing something new. But these problems that I have now, these are like these problems that like have probably always existed in my life, or like I've just like over long. I mentioned the 6 month time frame. It's like these are like more longer, drawn out, internal like discrepancies that I'm like working through, and it's harder to like really explain that from an unfinished or like resolved position. Like, it's easier for me to come back like after the fact and reflect on who I have been than it is to tell you who I am, when who I am in the present moment is kind of like a lava lamp of a thing. Like you can't, like, what I'm saying? So yeah. If you feel like you are in this more like lava lamp state of being, it could just be a matter of time before things kind of like cool down, and then you have a more concrete position or understanding of yourself in the aftermath of whatever has occurred that kind of like maybe heated a situation up. Like, because like when you add heat to like, I'm thinking like fucking like law of thermodynamics, bro. Like, when you add heat to a situation and the atoms start like getting agitated and moving really fast, and then like the electrolytes, like, you never even can really pinpoint where an electrolyte will be until you observe it being there. So like, you could be in this falling action or like climatic position, like somewhere in between that, like the peak and the falling through, because it seems like energetically you don't know where you should expect yourself to be. um and you might not be finding out the answers to those questions in the immediate future. Like, it could be something where you just kind of really do need to kind of buckle in and see where the situation will leave you, because I mentioned that whole like, predetermined kind of like, anything God will need you to do, you will do, or anywhere God will need you to be, you will be. um but you'll be observed there, but you'll only be observing yourself there once you're already there. So it's kind of like if you're like a planner type of person, or like a person who feels like they need to have a lot of control, this could definitely be like a harder time for you to feel comfortable. And I mentioned like the difficulty to find true relaxation is because like you won't be able to give yourself um peace of mind in a way that like feels rational. And if you need that rational peace of mind, then it's just like, you know, it's not there. And so you'll be like kind of forced to come into like a deeper level of contentment with damn, we have miracle, mysticism, and renewal. Like a deeper level of contentment with the fact that like everything that is already like within you in some kind of way. It sounds like super like but I feel like it kind of gets easier to digest yourself as both being in charge of your future and not in charge of your future at the same time. Like, and that is like a mind fuck, but it is possible to kind of come to peace with that. And that's what I've been learning how to do, is because I've been resisting, like I mentioned in my little journal entry, like I've been avoiding everything that requires me to be in touch with myself. Like I just didn't want to feel like I was in charge of my life, and so I kind of just stepped back from it, and then I allowed things to kind of fall apart because I realized that like, you know, it wasn't super important to me to maintain a perfect positive form and posture. And then now at the end of that, I'm kind of like putting it back together. It feels like an initial inconvenience, but it's also definitely possible to recover from like my apathy. I have to blow my nose again. Hold on. That might actually be what I title this reading, recovering from apathy, because I feel like a lot of us in the collective could probably relate to like that. And then, you know, this is someone who calls themselves Mars. You know, like this is somebody who keeps moving, who fights the fight, who like has the idea and charges after the idea, right? So imagine how uncomfortable it is for someone who calls themselves and see themselves as Mars to be in a period of like inaction or like a lack of motivation or a lack of a physical capacity to move or like be recognized for their efforts. Like that's like kind of like a purgatory, like a hell, like a limbo. It's like a position that you kind of want to fight against, but maybe fighting against it isn't super productive right now. Maybe it's better to just kind of like be like, well, this is the best I can do, even if it is like 65% of what I normally could do. And there's still a value to this, even if it isn't the perfect thing. There's still a value to me just kind of like showing up. Like I might not even be amounting to everything that I think that I am or should be or could be, but that's okay. Like anything that I needed to be, God would have me be. Like if God wanted me to get an A on this test, I would be making an A on this test right now. But you know, I'm not. So, and if I feel like I need help to get that position, I could kind of open myself up to whatever guidance could be available to me. Because I feel like, you know, we're always kind of being presented once again with like these multiple different pathways. There could be the one that we're most likely to go down just based on our defaults, but I do still believe in like power of choice and like autonomy as humans. So if your typical path leads you down like this more like B average, C average pathway, and you know that about yourself because you're aware of yourself, then it wouldn't be hard to open yourself up to the guidance of studying, like how to study for the things that would help you get to that more A pathway. And when I say study, it doesn't have to even really be study, right? It could be like I mentioned before, like myself, like I've been kind of like asleep at the wheel of my life because I didn't want to drive or steer or be in charge of the direction like at all. Like I just didn't want to be in control of anything because I felt like to be in control means that I like could be blamed for things that happened that I didn't like. So like I'm on my like last pair of like underwear right now, and like it's my own fault. Like I could have easily done my laundry before, but I didn't. Like I just continually made choices to not prioritize doing my laundry until right now when I need more underwear, and all of my underwear is in the laundry. You know, so it's like there's things that I think if you would open your mind up to, you would understand would help you. But you have to kind of like get to the point where you want to open your mind to those things. And for as long as you don't want to, like, it's kind of like stupid to even like be upset about it, because like ultimately, like, the kind of energy I feel like you have the ability to make pretty significant change for yourself internally, externally. But the thing that you need to kind of like hack here is your own mind. Like, and that is not an easy thing to do. So, for some people, anyways. So you kind of need to figure that out. And I also threw away my vape. So like I'm a little bit more clear-headed today than maybe I have been in like 3 months at least. So, I'm trying to do things that I think will help me, like cutting out certain addictions, and just suffering a little bit more intensely in the short term, so that I can have more satisfactory outcomes in the long term. So, like, that's a choice you kind of have to make for yourself. That's not an easy choice to make, but I feel like is a reflection of your greater strategy at this time. Like, how much of the things that normally make you feel comfortable or secure are you willing to sacrifice in order to be the next best version of yourself? Um, Especially those are like escapist kind of like vices, because I definitely have been doing that in like excess recently. Like, I've been drinking a lot, smoking a lot, and sleeping a lot. So, amongst other things. Yeah. Um, those ideas could be coming to you soon, though. We have the Nine of Wands and the Eight of Wands. Like, those ideas on how to improve yourself and your circumstances could be coming to you soon, because I'm recording this right after I got an idea um, that kind of, dare I say, excited me. Like, yeah, I don't know. I've been thinking about changing my identity a lot recently. I was growing my hair out because I was like, I want to be girly, but I am not like super girly as a person. So I was thinking about like cutting it back short again into some kind of like little boy haircut, because I just like them. And yeah, and then I might actually see about the recruitment thing, and then I might actually be gone for like 10 weeks for like a boot camp or whatever. It's crazy. What the fuck? Um, but yeah, like, this is where my life has led me. And I didn't think it was gonna go like this, but it could possibly go like this. And I want to be like open and like optimistic about what the change could bring for me. Because it feels like, you know, this is like kind of the opposite of what I thought I was, or what I was trying to prove myself to be in the world. Like, this whole like, if I belong to the government, even like on a part-time basis, it kind of just feels like in some ways I'm completely contradicting a previous version of myself. But I also like the idea of being secure. Like, I feel at this point attracted to the idea of security. Like, I want to create security for myself, and I want to be trusted by other people to be able to enforce security. 'Cause I'm a big like security type person. Even though I didn't see that about myself in the way that I see it now. Um, because security literally just kind of meant something different to me when I was younger than it does to me now. Like, I felt more secure when I was younger, when I was being super creative, and when everybody knew how I felt about everything. And now that doesn't make me feel secure anymore. So this whole like job thing, this whole like broadcasting my energy of my life for people to benefit from, like, that even feels different for me now too, because it's like that used to bring me security and now it doesn't, and now it makes me feel like I'm liable. So yeah, I think that's part of the reason why like whatever stagnation you could be experiencing is actually productive, because it'll like encourage you to rethink your own thought process, and really identify what those core changes have been over time. And over time is kind of important here, because this is like kind of like, I feel like this is referencing at least like a 6 month time period. Like, you've, whatever this situation is that's kind of like causing you confusion right now, like this has been kind of brewing, or at least like simmering for at least 6 months now. It could be longer, could be maybe a little bit shorter, but I kind of feel like 6 months is the time range that we're like looking at here. Yeah, which would bring us back to like February if you're seeing this in August. Yeah. Okay, I think that might be what all I have to say. I don't know. This is a finish line reading, so let's talk about like I think I'll pull one last question. And I'll say what. Hold on, let me think. Let me gather myself really quickly. Okay, let's say like what does Mars need to know to kind of align herself with the outcome that would be most beneficial for her right now? So this is just kind of like general advice on how to kind of tweak yourself currently. I'm like currently really fiending for nicotine. Like yeah. Yeah, it's not fun. But I think I'll take care of myself after this. And that's an important thing, like the ability to prioritize what's most important. Like that could be a thing here. That could be one of these tweaks. It's like, how often am I doing the hard thing, even when the easy thing is available? What's stopping me from like doing the harder things? Like what fears do I have that get in the way of that get in between me and change in my life, change that I want to see? Because the whole like boot camp thing kind of like makes me scared, and like part of the reason why I don't really want to enlist in the military full time is because I'll have to like leave and be like really gone. Like I don't really want to be gone like that. Like I'm totally cool to just like, you know, do the part-time thingy. I don't really want to be gone. Like I know my cousin, when he enlisted, like he wanted to be gone, you know, like that was like the most fun part of it for him, because he grew up like in the countryside of North Carolina. Like he wanted to be gone, but I don't want to be gone. Like I'm cool to still be here. That's why I kind of went more like I'm thinking more local authority, like more like closer to home authority than I am thinking of like having any like necessarily like foreign authority. Like I'm good on the domestic authority here. Because it's not even to say that like whatever I do next is gonna be the thing that I do forever. But this like I'm more so thinking of this as like a building block. Like I need to put a Lego brick down right here if I want to be able to put a Lego brick down kind of like diagonally from that. Like I need to have the stability of this Lego brick before this Lego brick can like really create the stair step kind of pattern. Ace of Pentacles. It's in the reverse. Ten of Swords. High Priestess in reverse. And I think a lot of my potential in some of these areas and that I'm wanting to pursue is already kind of known. Like it's good. I just have to prove it. Like this could be like a thing where you're just proving it. It's kind of like in trigonometry and shit, when you had to prove triangles to be triangles, but like you could look at the triangle and you're like, I know this is a triangle. Why would I ever? And then like a lot of people in high school used to be like, what's the point of having to do this if we never have to do it in real life? But like it's not like proving triangles is kind of a, you know, a real life thing. If you think about it more like metaphorically than like literally. So this is like especially true if anything, like any one of your goals really requires like a refined version of yourself. Like you have to kind of prove a level of quality or a level of submission or a level of devotion. Like that's what you're proving here. Like it's not that you don't have the skills, it's that you're having to prove that you're willing to follow through with the process. And even that determination to follow through with the process is kind of the thing that distinguishes you from like any other person that does the thing. Like my cousin is distinguished from me because he's willing to like put himself in a completely crazy environment and be there 100% of the time, all the time. And he's not giving himself really a way out of that because he signed a 20-year contract to do it. So he's really locked in there in a way that like I feel like it's hard for me to imagine myself doing because I'm not that devoted. Like that's just like how it is. Like I'm just not that devoted. But like I can't help but like admire him in his devotedness, you know, because that's his brand. Like that's his thing. But like I don't like like he would he goes beyond me in that way, and it's important when you're looking at like on paper like who if he's if they're like thinking like okay who are we gonna send out on this like mission, are we gonna go for the guy who's like shown max devotion or are we gonna go for the guy who's kind of like just here to prove the triangle and they should go with the guy who has the most devotion because I'm just here to prove the triangle. Like I'm more of like a I don't know how to explain that. I don't know how to explain it other than that. Like I hope that makes sense. Like you might not be the top of your class, but you don't really need to be. You just kind of need to finish it. You gotta just need to like do the thing, like it kind of like if you're putting pressure on yourself to be the very best, and this thing may or may not actually be the thing that like is the end all be all for you. Like I would just say kind of relax a little bit. Like let yourself relax. Because you could be putting a lot of pressure on yourself to be like this perfect thing that you really don't need to be. You kind of just need to participate. It's like just participate, kind of. Demonstrate like effort and consistently. And it doesn't have to be that your, output is perfect. It's more so because the perfect thing kind of feel like it can come later. Like the mastery of the thing could come later. And it might be easier to like have that mastery as a goal when it's not your initial goal. Like when I first started to read tarot, it wasn't my goal to be to even have a platform at all. I read tarot for 5 years before I ever made a platform doing it. And I was just doing it because it's related to my culture and cultural upbringing. Like this is just what women in my family can divine information. Like we're just built different like that. My mom used coconut shells. I've evolved. So like whatever. And that could be another thing about like family tree as well. Like you could be witnessing yourself taking something a step further than anybody around you has ever done. And it's because you're built for it. If you just need some like motivation to know that you're built for this thing that you're trying to do, you definitely are built for it. And like I do feel like the potential for your success is understood. And if you feel like you want to go to that like guidance counselor person, I feel like they would be genuinely supportive of you. Or it could just be like that you want to level with your professors about what some of your circumstances have been. I mean, yeah, 6 of Wands. I do feel like you're somebody who sticks out, even if you're not the number one performer, because there could be something about like the way that you approach the content that kind of reveals maybe some of your motivation for being involved with it. Like, I'm thinking National Guard. I'm thinking cybersecurity because I think I want to become. I think I already have always hacked things. I'm really good at finding out information that I shouldn't necessarily have. That's a little bit harder to see or find, and I have like this problem-solving type of brain, and so I want to put myself in a position where I'm being kind of guided through a training process so I can become a more fine-tuned version of myself. I'm also trying to learn multiple languages so that I can be broadly useful and kind of a specialist in certain ways. So, yeah. And all of this is important to my identity because I'm getting out of my own way between me and the creation of my fullest potential. Like if I have this vision of myself as being this like Max Payne like X Games mode type of person, and I've been like allowing myself to kind of be distracted by like not only who I have been in the past, but then like all the things around myself that I've kind of like attached to as having like some kind of defining marker of my being or worth or value. Because like one of the things for me that kind of gets in my way is relationships that people like caring about people in some ways has I think slowed me down, but that's okay because I also feel like there was necessity to all of that stuff. Like it's like whatever, like it's necessity. But I do feel like whatever could be happening right now is related to you kind of unlocking some personal power. Yeah, possibly by releasing whatever isn't helpful for you, and it could be fear in some kind of way. And now I just thought about like Donnie Darko when that one motivational speaker dude comes to like visit them at the school, and he's like talking shit. But he's like right low key about the guy, like in certain ways. He's like this you basically called him out for being a fraud, and like yeah. Yeah, maybe he was a fraud in some ways. This could be a time when you're trying to make sure that you're not a fraud. I went through a phase like that. Um, because I felt like a fraud. Like I felt like I've always been like naturally smart, and I did really well in school, but I never really had to really try hard to do well in school. Like I just was meant to do well in school. And that's kind of what I talk it up to because I didn't study for anything. I just kind of showed up and coasted my way through all of my education. So when it came time to like choose a career, I was like, well, I'll just be a lawyer and I'll make a bunch of money because that's what somebody who has my stats would do. But then I started to realize like I was just gonna be super mechanic. Like I was just gonna be doing things because people think I should do those things, and like I was kind of giving up freedom that I felt like I should have been using at that age. Like I felt like at the age of 18, I should be thinking like, what do I want? Because I have the most time and flexibility from that position than I do from any other position down the road. So I was like, well, like, if I could do anything, what the fuck, like, what would I do? And then I was thinking, like, wouldn't it be super cool and awesome if I was kind of like famous or something? And then I started to like invest in showing off the things that I knew made me kind of special. And for me, that was terrible because I had like when I was in high school, I used to bring my cards to the school and read for my friends during lunch, and like everybody loves when I used to give them like cafeteria tale readings, and like I was good even then. So I was like, yeah, if I bring this to like the mainframe, like everybody's gonna go crazy. So and they did. Like my account blew up like pretty quick. I got to like 10K in like a couple of months because I was like grinding. I was posting like every day, and I was really proud of myself. And then boom, it became like a business, and it was like self-sustaining, and then it just did its thing. But it's obviously not a permanent thing. But the good thing about it is that it gave me a lot of confidence in what I'm able to do just through willing things into existence. Like I now know that I don't necessarily have to do the things that make the most sense to other people. Like everybody in my family was like, "Why are you not going to college? Like, why are you not continuing your?" But I had graduated high school with my college degree. I graduated college a month before I graduated high school, like literally, like seriously, like before. So like I was just like I don't want to do that anymore. Like I've already proved it that I'm smart, and now I want to like show you guys what I can do with this brain that I have. But now that I've done that, now that I've kind of proven to the entire world that I have a big brain and I know things, now I have to figure out like what I'm gonna do with all this information that I have, and like I have to prove myself to be continually trustworthy of having the information, which means I have to like somehow involve myself in the mechanism of information. Like I have to kind of like create some kind of submission to this information and demonstrate that there's a value to me having this information and that I'm not a liability for having the information. So, I gotta like, because most people I feel like took another route to get to where I am right now. Like, I feel like most people, you know, they didn't go in knowing things, or maybe they did, I don't know. But it just kind of seems like I'm in this unique position where, like, I feel like I have to kind of treat the world in a certain way, and the world is like treating me a certain way, and like me and the world are kind of like unsure of each other. Um, like it kind of feels like we're in like a standoff sometimes, me and the world. Um, but other times I really feel like the world fucks with me and like wants to make sure that I have nice things. So, you know, I think it's both. And I want to see it that way, and I don't want to become like jaded by my feelings of uncomfort or like frustration with whatever could be happening in a moment. So yeah, I hope that that was like helpful and that brought you some clarity. I think I might pull from this one last deck over here. Boom. And then I'm gonna definitely step out to finish my little coffee and have a cigarette probably. Because I'm like really in my philosopher stone era right now. Like I was watching this Russian guy speak about like uh, first it was capitalism and then it was what the fuck did he talk about? I can't remember the second video, but the first one was about capitalism. My dad's Russian dog is named Josh Allen, quarterback of our family football team, and the Buffalo Bills. And I feel inspired by him because Josh, like, he has the eyes of. First of all, he's like completely white. Like, he's um, definitely an expensive breed. Like, he's a Siberian Husky. He's completely white and like super fluffy, and like I call him a show pony because he's basically like the mascot of our family that represents like the fact that we're kind of like show offs. Like we have like title, we have like legacy, especially in the like geographic region. Like there's literally a part of downtown Atlanta that's called Hyde Park, and we're Hydes. So it's just kind of like this feeling of I'm the best. I'm that guy that we kind of just like collectively I feel like all have, or we're encouraged to have. And then he has like these eyes of like psychopathy. Like he's literally a crazy dog. Like he's insane. But it's because he's at the top of the food chain and stuff. Even though he doesn't probably like even know that about himself, because he's a puppy dog. Like he didn't even have any other dogs in his life really before I brought my dog over here, and he's Dominion, so he's also like pretty cool, but he's not the alpha dog. Sacred Boundaries 43. Destiny path, holy shit. Yeah, you're about to shine. Inner conflict resolution. Yeah, this feels like less of a thing that you necessarily have to like step outside of yourself to resolve, and more of a thing that you kind of resolve internally. Master Manifestor has the crows on it, and I feel like that's adjustments that are taken with the help of whatever energies are like kind of guiding you through this. And when I say energies, I struggle to say like use really specific words, because like depending on who you are and like what you're going through, like the energy could be like the counselor. It could be like a specific, like if you're struggling with a specific kind of course content, it could be like a resource that you are led to find that makes it make sense to you all of a sudden. It just feels like there's like whatever you are outsourcing, even though it kind of like seems like you're outsourcing, you're not really outsourcing. You're just finding new internal pathways that result in different external actions. I hope that makes sense. Like, this is the bottom of the dive. It's in you. So, like, the solution isn't anything that's outside of you. It's more about your new troubleshooting pathway to your previously existing situations, conflicts. That's why I think the time thing is so significant. Like, it's 6 months. Like, at least it's like, I've been dealing with this feeling, this problem, this person for like all this time, but my ability to have a different interaction with this situation is because of the work that I've done internally and how I feel about myself in reference to the situation. And that's the determination of destiny that I feel like is the most important part of this situation. Not so much whatever's happening outside of you. It's more like whatever's happening inside of you that aligns you with the next best thing, or like the next step or the next phase of the journey. Like even if the external outcome appears to be failure, like I just got fired from that job, but like why did I even need that job? I didn't. I just was bored and wanted to put myself in a situation where I had purpose. Yeah. Like, I would be doing myself a disservice if I focused on losing the job instead of focusing on the fact that I have a lot more inside of myself than that job could really contain. So I need to find myself in positions where I'm a good match with what it is that I'm aligning with or partnering with or attaching to. Like, I need to better align myself with better matches that fit the content of my essence, rather than trying to fit myself into smaller positions or packages just for the sake of moving forward in a certain way. I need to be more discerning about what opportunities are meant for me. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end this because my nose is running in a way that makes me feel uncomfortable. And I'm going to wish you the best of luck with this, and thank you so much for choosing to get this reading from me. Ciao. Rah.